Car Chat on Zoom. I'm your host, Greg Gout. The gang's all here with John and Luff and Phil and Don and Gio and Dewan and Mike and Wayne and other people. Let's talk slot cars. I have some show and tell. I'm going to start with my show and tell. But anybody else have show and tell? Raise your virtual hand so I don't miss you. Or when I say anybody else, go like this so I don't miss you. But let me make sure I have photos correct. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So here, here, here. All right, so you should see the ever-present Harbor Freight slot car box with lights. I was thinking about this the other day because Jim, suggested it and other people have requested it. I'm like, okay, well, how do I need to find lights that are easy to source, right? And then how do I get it to be part of the box without taking up other space? And then I realized, well, you could have it be integrated into one of the containers. And then I'm like, hey, I've got a bunch of random parts that I could absolutely put together into this kind of thing in the container. So here we go. That is me holding my hand over the overhead lighting. So you can actually kind of see my thumb shadow here. That's from the overhead lighting. So the light on the car is 100% the light from the modification that I did. And this is a picture of the underside of it. As you can see, there's a 9-volt battery and these little LED panels. And that's basically all there is to it. I can, share the link to the LED panels. They're basically drop-in replacements for the overhead dome light in your car, right? You pop off the dome light cover, and instead of putting an incandescent or some other expensive OEM bulb in there, you put one of these little panels of LEDs, and it comes with 4 different things that plug into 4 different kinds of things that light bulbs plug into, right? So there's plenty of connectors. This is messy as heck because I didn't want to cut and solder all kinds of things. So I'm reusing the connectors that the little panels come with. Basically, I drilled a hole in the middle for the wires from the panels to go up through. This is basically the handle area of the little container. So a hole up to the middle of that for the wires to go through, and then a hole between this front area and this space behind it for the battery and the switch. I dug a single, pull, single throw on-off switch out of my stash of, parts that I removed from other things. Cut a hole in there, stuck it in there, soldered it, and that's going too far. But basically, that's it, right? All I have to do is, reach my thumb under there and flip the little switch, pull it out a little bit. It stays in place just fine because it's not going to tip out, right? Because it's taking up all that space. As long as you don't pull it mostly out, you're fine. And as soon as the light is peeking over the edge of all the other things in your case, it's doing its job.
Greg, can I just
Uh,
say that like that photograph you just had, the first picture that you had, you can use it for photographing cars too. Yeah, that's lovely. Look at how nice that picture is.
I mean, I wouldn't because it's more like it's more single source than you'd want but I guess if you really want to cast some shadows, you could do it that way. But
I
yeah,
think I think that looks brilliant. That's awesome.
I was quite happy with how it turned out, and it's such a simple thing. I'm not gonna provide this, and like I'm not gonna make kits for people to do this, but I'll happily share the links. But if you look for, dome light LED panel on Amazon, I used a 9-volt rechargeable, a lithium ion rechargeable 9-volt battery. So when that starts to fade, I just plug it into a USB socket or swap it out with one of my other ones that's already been recharged. It just sits there, and I'm sure people out there have something in this little container area, but it's not really taking up such, important space in the container, honestly. But if you really wanted to, you could probably find a smaller battery that fits just in this front area and a switch that you can fit in there. If you want to be super compact and clever, you could do
Oh,
it more compactly and cleverly than I did. But it's those little LED panels that make it so convenient, and they come with double stick tape. All you got to do is peel the tape backer off and stick it on. This is obviously a 9 LED panel. They also come in 12 and 24, and but it's like a 6 pack for $10, right? 6 of these for $10, and then you can
you
get
know,
like
you know
Wayne.
what that makes me wonder? I wonder what that would have been. Did you try this before you cut the hole? Did you consider putting the LEDs in the handle so that it shone through the plastic, is what I'm saying?
That would probably work well enough, but it's got sticky pads on there, so I'm like, I'm gonna use the sticky pads, right?
Yeah,
And you're gonna need to drill at least one. You're gonna need to make at least one hole for your switch, wherever that is. I put the switch down here. You could actually put the switch up in the front because there is enough room between where the container is and where the front panel closes up on the container, that there would be room for a small switch like that and not, keep the front panel from
yeah.
snapping shut. But yeah, mainly I'm showing this not to be like I'm awesome, but look how easy it is, right? Anybody could do what I just did. Anybody could do a better job. The only soldering I did was to the switch and then these balls of wires. I just made sure they were separated enough that they're not going to touch each other. I didn't even bother insulating them. So there you go. An easy, light solution without having to do some contraption or bring a bulky battery or whatever you thought you needed. Can be something this simple. All right. Any other questions on that? Moving along. Mikey's got his hand up. Go ahead, Mike. Unmute. You are still muted, sir. Noob. There should have been a pop-up that says unmute. He was all ready to share. And now he's lost his controls. Well, nobody else has their hand up, so we're just going to wait awkwardly for you, Mike. Sorry.
I think Mike's got a new phone.
There we go.
Oh, I think it's time for a new iPad. It was not responding to my finger touches at all. It just wouldn't go.
Yeah.
So sorry about that interlude there, but this is for you.
Oh, very nice.
Right.
That's the Revo slot.
Yep, it's a new Revo slot. I loved it the minute I saw it.
Yeah,
I
it's
have
pretty
a
cool.
fondness for that color scheme, as the Sunoco scheme and stuff, as well as you do, though not quite to your obsessiveness. But this is a gorgeous car. Kudos to Revo Slot. It's their standard, their third iteration of this, or a second iteration of the chassis, but the newer style cars, as is the RX-7. And
Yeah.
it's so it's got that, but the fit and finish is just marvelous. I mean, it's glossy. I haven't been able to find a flaw on it anywhere. It's just beautiful. So I'm,
Has it got
whatever
a
they're
driver's
doing.
name on it, Mike?
Pardon me?
Does it have a driver's name on it?
Yes. No, it does not. It says Palatine Automotive.
Do we know whether it's a real car or a fantasy
It is a
livery?
real car.
Okay.
John Sisk Racing. So I assume John Sisk is the driver.
It's
But
got Lewis Hamilton's number on it.
oh yeah, it does. But it's pre his period, so I would expect that it's had nothing to do with that. But yeah, it I haven't got it out on the track yet. I just got it today. So but it's gorgeous, and I like their new they're new cars. They seem to run real well. So we'll see how it goes. But I'll probably get another, if they'll come out with another iteration. The Brumos Porsche is nice too if I want to get two Porsches, but I'm sort of adverse to having more than one of a model unless the livery really, really touches me. There are some, I like Jägermeister too, so I think they have that one, but that's tempting. But I already have a Jägermeister Porsche 935. So it's like, yeah, and I'm sure going to be spending lots of money on the both the slotted and the scale auto hypercars as they come out. So I should save my pennies for that as it is. So that's all I got.
What did you
Bunch of
think
other
of
little parts, but that's not important.
what did you think of the generic hypercar from NSR?
You know, since I have the other ones that are semi-accurate models of the real ones, I'll probably stick with those. I might have a dual hypercar class with the scale autos in one portion and the slotted versions in the other, which are more to scale than the scale auto ones are.
Ironically.
But but I like the slotted ones better. Interestingly enough, I found that I haven't set up the scale auto for the polycar track yet, but I found that the slotted cars, so surprise, surprise, go quite well on the polycar track, and better than the scale auto ones. So I think it's a matter of just front end adjustments and stuff like that, because it seems to be that the scale auto ones are lower than the slotted ones, at least in stock form. Although I had set them to approximately the same height, so I haven't investigated further yet. But the slotted ones actually go better on the polycar track than the scale auto ones for some reason. So I'll have to look into that more as I get into the thing. But yeah, I'm real happy with the Revo slots. But as what I think about the quote non-Ferrari of scale auto, I
The
probably
NSR.
won't unless it's really, really, really good. If it challenges the scale auto ones, I might put it in there. But scale auto is coming out with a Ferrari anyway.
Hello, how are you?
So
I heard him earlier.
I figure why not stick with the ones I have, and I won't have two Ferraris. There's three Porsches. Yeah, I'll do that. But two Ferraris, yeah, I'm not that much of a Ferrari guy, in spite of Lewis Hamilton.
Well, Mike, I have to say that you even color coordinated your outfit for your show and tell.
Yeah.
Well, it's blue and orange, but so well, no, sort of yellow. But yeah, how about that? Sartorially wise I am. So that's all I got.
Alrighty, good stuff. Any other show and tells out there? All right, I guess not. We'll talk about some racing. Anybody got any racing they want to talk about? I'll talk about my racing. I'll back to my
You
share
first.
here. Me first, yay. There we go. So this is the results of, and ignore the BTCC part. This is the results of the Revo slot GTs at Chris's track, which is the Scalextric Sport 4-lane inspired by the King wood tracks of the days. And Chris, of course, is the track owner, and yeah, so a little bit of home track advantage. I did okay. Only came out on my own once. Only came out by somebody else twice. But racing, that's racing. It's all about getting the laps. And it's a good track. It's a fun track. And if you're subscribed to Russ, you'll see the action in the next few days, I'm sure. We raced. I forgot to get a picture of it because I don't remember how I did. But for IROC, we did racer, as in racer silver line resin body cars. What kind of cars were they? I think they're Ferraris, Dinos. Anyways, I'm terrible with old cars. But four identical racer cars. Uh, Super easy to drive, very forgiving, probably because the bodies are so heavy. But if you're not familiar with those cars, it's basically a resin cast, like a slush cast, resin cast body. And then all the running gear is slotted running gear and custom chassis. Good cars, lots of fun. All right, I'm done. Mike, you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm not gonna let me see if I can get this going again. Oh, how about that? Yay. Come on. All right. We raced GT3 cars. Actually, we tried to race Maseratis, but Shiggy declared them undrivable, despite the fact that I could drive them with ease. He was just, I don't know, bad mood or something. Who knows? He said, I can't drive these cars. So we, after a lot of trying and putzing around with it to get to his liking or not, he declared them undrivable. And I said, okay, we'll wait for the other two to get there. So Ellen and Jason showed up and we ran GT3 cars, the good ones. This rain fart, racer sideways, GT3 cars. So I was in first with the Huracan, and Shiggy had the Ford GTLM. And believe it or not, Jason, because I gave him a car that was 0.2 of a second down on speed, but it was super easy to drive. And he beat Joel and Ellen out and came in third. So he did really quite well. He did have offs, but he's only raced like 3 times, so that's quite a good showing for doing that. And he only beat Joel by half a lap, but he kept going throughout the race and kept it on. So you can see the results there. I beat Shiggy fairly handily with that. He had to. It was if you look at the live stream, and the live stream is up, and the GT3 race is up. So if you look at that, you will see that Shiggy and I were back and forth pretty much. But I would pull out, because I get better fuel mileage because of his driving style. I can beat him if I don't get caught up in traffic too much. And boy, we all got caught up in traffic and stuff. There were melees galore. So it was disappointing from my standpoint, in that I would rather have much cleaner races than that. But you got to run what's there. So it was good fun all in all. Everybody had a good time. Jason was thrilled, of course, with his third place. So, and the pace car finished last, which is always a good thing. So, anyway, good time. That was it.
Yeah, I'll have to watch some of those races, because 6 cars, even if one car is a pace car, 5 driven cars and a pace car, that's action there on that size track.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've been actually considering taking down my polycar track and making just one. I've got 27 by 27 space here, which is good size. And, I could put a mega track on that if I wanted to. So But I really, really like the setup I've got. It races really, really well. The outside lane is slow enough that it makes passing difficult, and it makes the racing better, I think, because there's lots of times where I know I can't pass Shiggy. I know for sure that I'm not fast enough to pass him, so I will just sit there and harass him. I won't hit him, unless he does something untoward, but I will harass him, and eventually I can get him to fall off. But most of the time, because of the fuel mileage, I've got a half a lap or a lap in hand that I can just sit there and follow him. And as long as I don't
Mike,
get myself in trouble, I can take care of that. So
Mike, basically you harass to pass.
sure. I mean, yeah, guilty as charged, Your Honor.
Yeah, we do it all the time.
Yeah. If you haven't got enough go to pass him, you harass him until he makes a mistake. And in fairness, if he's behind me, I'll make damn sure that I just do my race. And the rule is, if you knock somebody off from behind, you go back to the position there. So that keeps it honest, at least. So I mean, mistakes happen. I mean, if he breaks suddenly or something happens, I've hit people that way. But most of the time, I can stay pretty close, and I practiced enough that I can control it afterwards. But it's much more relaxing racing that way than it is going for a hard pass and having him slide out and knock me off, which is counterproductive in the long run. So, and with it probably would be better if I could keep the lanes equalized, but it's not worth changing the track design enough, especially since it's all wired together. I actually did some more soldering together, which in places that I hadn't before, that I was relying on the tape to take care of the voltage differential, if there is any. So I'm starting to get to where Greg is with everything soldered in. But then, of course, I was always leery of doing that because of the possibility of lane changers going out. And I do have one that I'm going to probably have to change out for that reason, because it gets to a position where the flipper will vibrate from the cars running by, especially with lots of cars, that it will go halfway in between. And twice I deslotted right at the lane change from hitting the flipper. So
Crashing into it with your guide blade, yeah.
Yeah. The other alternative to doing a completely larger track is to, of course, convert this to polycar and then use adapters to adapt the SSD to it, because I can't run my classic F1s are only SSD because there's no room for a slotted chip. And I would like to have the advantage of being able to use SSD because, for one thing, I have so many chip cars that makes it easier, and that way I don't have to spend the extra money for slotted chips for oxygen or that. So anyway, just thoughts. Anybody has any brilliant ideas for a 27 by 27 space? I'm ready to listen. So,
well, the track would not be 27 by 27, that's for sure.
oh, no, it would. You obviously have to have. I probably would, to get a longer straight, I would probably angle it in the space.
Could you go diagonally? Could you go diagonally for a really? Yeah.
So that would, but I'd still have to leave room on each side because I have to get by and get into work on my car periodically. So not as much as I like to anymore. I used to enjoy that, but not quite so much anymore. It's like, okay, stay together now for the rest of my life. Don't cause any problems. All right, that's all I got.
I'd probably do a long rectangular track in the center. Well, not necessarily right in the center, but with the short end against, that back wall. And maybe, 24 feet would be plenty long. And then like 6 or 7 wide tops. and then drivers could be on both sides,
Yeah,
kind of like how Geo does it. But
yeah.
then that would
The
still be plenty of room for a nice long straight. I mean, 24 foot is plenty long for a long straight.
yeah, yeah.
And then
The
lots.
one I've got is 16 almost. Well, 14 actually. You take away the sides and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
and the it's sort of a shallow L, and the outside towards the carousel, the first turn side the left hand side as you're sitting at the driver's station is 8 foot to the outside there.
Yeah.
So I would do at least the probably 24 by 8 or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's probably the max because then you can't get any cars in the middle without a grabber any wider than that, and you're not going to reach from the outside without a grabber.
Yeah,
There's a lot to be said for long and thin layouts, though, because with a long and thin layout, you can really take advantage of what is effectively a figure of eight with complications,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you can get your lane lengths similar, and you can get your lane competitiveness closer if you do left-handers at one end of the room and right-handers at the other, with some opposite involved, so, to build
yeah.
in complexity.
Hmm.
But I like Suzuka in Eindhoven because that's a very long and narrow. That is a long and narrow circuit. Actually, so is Paul Ricard on the. If you look at it on that scale, it's not all that deep,
Yeah,
but you can get 16 drivers alongside of it with with room to spare.
yeah, yeah. I could see that. I'll have to think about that. I do like the plan of the new one, except for the two R1 back to backs that I have. Although they aren't too bad, I have to get more time on it. Once I got the slotted cars on it, I could get more of a rhythm to it. So it's interesting. But anyway, I don't have the cash right now to do uh, the Road America track in Polycar, which is what my ultimate goal would be if I was going to keep the two tracks. Because it is, it's nice to have two completely different tracks to work on. But
yeah,
the problem is that the people that I'm working with, there's enough crashes on this one, say nothing about the new one. So I have to be aware of that. So I'm just mulling it over in my head what to do. So of course it means taking this one down and building and then no racing for a couple of weeks, and I'll probably die if that happens if I don't race.
you'd have to if you did the big track thing, you'd have both tracks down for a while, or you
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It was like,
Okay.
no,
That would
please. I
it would
need my
definitely have to be it would have to be something very well planned out so that you're not trying to figure things out on the way and then be like frustrated and stop. It'd be like, okay, the table's going to be exactly this size. I got, the plan all planned out, room for borders, just the whole everything. This is where the power taps are. These are the sections that are going to solder together. These are the sections that are not, everything planned out. And
Yeah.
then I'll come over and help.
Well, to be honest, I didn't have to solder anything together for the polycar track at all. I do have power taps, and there was one spot that I had problems with a little bit. The right rising portion of it on the new track. I did have problems with power there, but I put in a power tap on that top section, and that took care of it. There was complete evenness of power on that, but I haven't raced 6 cars or more on it. So
Yeah. When we were at Bill's track last week, his track is a 4-lane polycar, and one of the lanes was quite clearly lower powered than the other lanes were. And even he admitted, yeah, it's slow. And they're like, he's been assured that polycar doesn't need lots of power taps. I'm like, no, there's no such thing.
it's plastic track. It needs power
It's
tap.
plastic sectional track. No matter how good it starts, even if it's perfect when it starts, eventually it's gonna need power taps. You might as well put a bunch in. And yeah, I think he had 2 for the whole track, and it's a fairly
Oh,
long.
that's not enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it's at least 100-foot lap length or more. Yeah, so we're like, yeah, you need to put more power taps in, and I'm not going to tell them to go, whole hog with the little wire jumpers, but there's no such thing as too many power taps.
Is it
Yeah.
running a power supply per lane on a thing like that, or?
No, we usually have just one fairly sizable power supply, like 20 amps or more. So all the lanes are always the same voltage.
But they're
But
not.
it's not the volts, it's the amps, right? So a section of track has a poor connection, and the car just doesn't jump
Yeah.
as quickly as it does elsewhere. Yeah.
And you
Once
have
you've
to
been
load the
racing long
track to be able to measure the voltage. You can't just put a voltmeter on a track,
Yeah.
exactly.
because there's no load there.
Yeah.
I always if I've got a chassis actually with a guide blade, braid, wires, and I think it's a indicator bulb,
Yeah.
12 volt, 2.5 amp bulb. Put that on the track piece and you'll see it dim
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
dimmer, and then you can put the voltmeter alongside it, and then you can read the voltage issue.
Yeah. Yep. All right. And Mr. Weber put a hand up. What would you like to talk about today, sir? Other than that awesome looking car.
Yeah, that's what I had in mind, is just a comment on
There it is.
Mike's show and tell. This was at the IMSA race at Mid Ohio in 1977, a 3-hour race. The car was driven by Doc Bundy and
Oh, yeah.
Roy Woods, and they finished 8th overall. And that was the era of Decon Monzas,
Yep.
Chevrolet Decon Monzas and these guys. And this was a 934
Yep.
rather than a 935. I think that's right.
Right.
I may have that wrong. Anyway, yeah, I thought it's really a cool looking car, and that Revo is really pretty too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's absolutely flawless. I can see pushing the wheels out a little bit for stability. I'll probably leave it dead stock right now to see how it compares to the Mazda, and then go from there. But yeah, Revo Slot's hitting them out of the ballpark. I don't know how they keep on doing it so well and so quickly. Dave of Slack Car News has mentioned that why do they bring them out so often? But as far as I'm concerned, bring it on.
Yeah.
I mean, if they sell, they sell, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
I ran out my two white kits around on Tuesday night, the Mazda and the Porsche, and there wasn't very much to pick from the two of them.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I did find that one of the kits, I don't know which one now, actually both of them, the back axle didn't seem to be quite centered in the chassis. I think it was the Mazda. So I had to take the spacer off one side and move to the other to set them up so that the back axle was the same width on both sides. But there wasn't much to pick from them. And we're just looking at some options of what we might do with them. Thoughts are that hopefully they'll bring out a couple more cars that will fit that class, because they're really a standalone class at the moment. They don't fit in with the Group 2s and they don't fit in with the GTs. So, yeah.
Well, I found that they go as fast. In fact, I beat one of the GT2 Porsches last time out.
Yes.
So they're going as fast. I don't, they might be comparable. I don't know about your track, but maybe that's on mine. So.
Yeah, well, they arrived on Tuesday afternoon and I ran them Tuesday night. So, I didn't have much preparation time.
Yeah.
No weight or anything in them, and just the tyres sanded a little bit. So a bit more tuning, and they've got to be painted yet, of course. So, yeah. Yeah. There'll be tribute cars. Actually, we lost a local 1-to-1 racer, passed away over the weekend, and there'll be tribute cars to him. So he was well known.
Alan Moffat, you mean?
Yes. Yeah, for a Canadian, he was pretty good.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
So there'll be
too bad.
the Porsche will be a tribute car that he ran and down here in Tasmania for a couple of times. And even though I've got some Mazdas on order, I'll probably still paint this one up as a Moffat racer and see how it goes. Yeah. So, and I'll try and stir the others up into buying some now, other people, to get them so we've got enough for a class. Yeah. I think they'll be good. I mean, the Revos are a great class. They're a great equaliser down here because they really don't take any setting up, and they're good for the new guys coming in. Yeah.
Yeah, I like them a lot.
Oh, yeah. All the new guys coming in that have brought them said, there's no problem with setting these up, so that's good. It equalises it. Yeah. Good. I just don't like the bloody colour of that one, though. Especially, it was commissioned by Greg.
The heck you say?
Sorry about that, Greg.
And without wanting to scratch an old wound, that Porsche makes me wonder whatever happened to that one that you were commissioning, Greg. The Martini one.
I'm a patient man. I'm a
It's
loving
on. It's
and
on.
caring
I can
man.
comment. It's on my workbench. It's just waiting for paint. I'm actually almost got it all because the decals are not very good. So you actually all that decal work is going to be paint. So that's what I'm taking my time with it.
I just wondered, because by now I would think that chassis must be itching for another run somewhere.
Oh, for sure. But I had to pick up the gauntlet when one of our members just went to hell with it.
Isn't that a 935 anyway?
It's a 935, yes.
Yeah.
But it reminded me, I'm not a Porsche man, so it wouldn't.
Well, I'll quite honestly, I'll admit that when I saw the round arches on the blue yellow, I thought, oh, that one will probably suit Greg because he likes the round rear arches.
Yeah, but he wants the flat front.
He wants the flat front.
I know it's not the same
and
car.
The rounded arches.
There's one consolation, Dennis. By the time this gets finished and on the track, it'll be suitable for retro racing.
Yeah, pretty much, or vintage stuff. Yeah.
Well, what I'm hoping is if I take long enough, we'll just extend this whole worldwide stock car chat series into the next millennium.
John, that's a secret.
It'll take the award for being the very last of the Samson Classics cars to ever run.
If we're still around to run them.
Yeah, well, they'll outlast us, that's for sure. The cars will be.
Well, hopefully, it'll be a great Christmas present.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Which Christmas?
Which Christmas,
not this
though?
Christmas.
Yeah.
Soon.
At least we leave one alone this week.
I could do Greek Orthodox Christmas, maybe.
I don't know when that is. When's that?
That's usually a week and a half after.
The 12 days of Christmas. Yeah.
So I can raise my hand as well.
No, go ahead.
I haven't been here for a while.
We've missed. Good to see you.
With today being the day before Thanksgiving, we the store was closing at Electric Dreams was closing at noon. So I didn't bother to go in because it's an hour and a half drive to get there, and then to get there and come straight home again. I didn't look like it was a good idea. And then I nearly forgot about this call anyway, but here I am. And so what I've been doing the last little while is things like this. That's the Mercedes W154 from that range of scale auto cars that they're doing. And this one is one of the few, the first ones that I have that has rubber tires. Unfortunately, and that's why I'm showing it from here, and it's got spoked wheels. But why I'm showing it from here is because when you turn it and you look at them, I mean, those tires are just way too wide, right?
What a shame.
Yeah. So I'll have a look at them. I've trued them up and I'll run them just to see how they run, and then maybe what I can do, because they overhang pretty badly on the wheels front and rear, is I'll just narrow them down and see if it can get it a little better looking. They tried to make these little drum brakes on the inside, which is a plastic molding that just slides over the wheel hub. So that's an interesting idea. But yeah, so that's the first thing that I've been doing, and then I've also got a sideways Mustang that I had the white kit lying here for about a month or 6 weeks, and then finally got a chance to do a little bit of painting. So I haven't even driven it yet because I don't have a track anymore. So I'll need to wait till I get back to Electric Dreams to try it out. See what it's like, whether that big wing on the back is going to make it better or worse than a lot of the others that I have with smaller wings. I know that the Bentley, it's not terribly good because of its big wing. But then it's a much taller car over the roof line as well. But it came out
We
pretty
got
good.
small wheels on there.
No,
Derek?
those are the stock wheels, but
Okay.
they're not terribly big. They don't fill the arches particularly well. Get a little bit of light on there.
Have you done
They're
away
really.
with the track, Dennis?
So again,
Have you done away with your track?
I sold my track, Phil.
Oh, right. That's a shame.
The homeowners association wanted to paint the outside of our units, and so I had to take it down to give them access to all the outside walls. And so I decided to sell it at the same time, with the idea of putting up another one at some point, but I haven't got around to that yet.
I know.
And I'm still wondering whether it's worth the effort.
Yes, I do too. I miss my track, but it's you wonder whether it's all worthwhile at times.
But days like today when I didn't really have much to do and I wasn't going into Electric Dreams, I kind of felt like it would have been really nice to have a track, and I would have been able to try these cars out again, but I didn't have the time. So.
Well, Dennis, what about the monogram track? Maybe you can put that up.
I
as an
did. I put it up a little while back, and but I'm not terribly good at this whole thing of racing on the floor. It's a long way down for me.
It's
Okay, hold on. Hold on.
We'll
take a whip around. We'll buy you some tables.
Yeah,
Okay,
I need to do that.
yeah.
But I mean, that's a big track because you're going to do it with 6 foot by 2 foot tables. You need like 5 of them, and those things are not cheap down here. There's a decent folding table, So I'll have to work out a plan. It'll be a good couple of $100 by the time. Say again?
$12 off each at Costco right now. Those 6 by 3 by 6 tables.
Yeah. Okay.
$12 off each table.
They're even inexpensive in Canada. Only they're made of wood up here. So just so you know.
Yeah. Well, I would prefer a wood table, but anyway.
Maple,
so I haven't gotten around to that yet. Because at the same time, of course, my wife decided that it might be a good idea for me to take the roof off of that patio that I had covered for the track, and so there's no roof there now. And so if I do leave anything out there, I would have to have it properly covered for the rain, because it's getting into the rainy season down here now. Believe it or not.
I was going to say, it rains in LA? What?
I don't
very
know
often.
about LA because I live in Orange County, but it's winter down here. You know that it's winter in Southern California. How?
People
When
wear
it's
long
wearing a jumper.
No, it's when the Starbucks cups turn red, then you know that it's winter down here.
Yeah,
Yep.
no offense, but y'all don't know cold.
Oh yeah, I know that. Having lived in Denver and having had winters in Omaha, Nebraska, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Chicago, I know that we don't know winters in Southern
Oh
California.
yeah, if you want real winter, Dennis, you were in like a great city for winter, which was Edmonton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they have
Fortunately,
like,
I was out of there before the winter decided to arrive.
exactly. Yeah, they have basically 2 seasons, winter and July.
Yeah.
winter in July. Yeah.
Well, if you ever need any more monogram track, I'm sure I can supply you with plenty.
I'm sure.
All right. I'll remember if I ever get a chance to build it up permanent and have a permanent layout, because then I would probably extend it a little.
Oh, that would be, you know what,
turn it into a
Dennis?
4-lane maybe.
Well, you've driven on it before. I mean, it's great track.
It's a lovely track. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I had it up a little while back. I put it up on the patio on the floor and drove around, and I had a great time. The modern cars run really well on that.
It just has the right amount of grip, and it's just lovely.
It's just got to be clean. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got one question, Dennis. How'd you get back up off the floor?
It was great difficulty, Phil. With great difficulty.
I know that.
It's
Put on
not
a pair of
easy
those
anymore.
foam knee pads and stay down there.
Well, I had like this little stool that I have in the garage that doubles as a two-step ladder, just a little thingy. And so I had that out there and sat on that. But if I came off at the other end of the track, I had to get up, walk over to the other. And when I was putting it all together and taking it all apart, then I was down on my knees, and it's not something that I do by choice anymore.
No, getting down's not a problem.
Yeah,
That's
Hey,
true.
listen, you could start a whole new yoga trend, slot car yoga.
Slot car yoga, yeah.
It's all right for these young blokes to make fun of us, isn't it, Dennis?
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's how it goes, but
Yeah.
Dennis, how did you have you driven the Merc and the Scale Auto Free Wars?
yeah, I haven't driven the Merc yet, because as I say, I haven't been in there. And the other ones that I have an Auto Union and I have a Maserati, but they're on foam tires. So that's why I built this one on rubber, on the rubber that comes in the kits now.
Uh-huh.
And I'll try it out, but I do have the foam tires waiting for it just in case they don't work. But they feel pretty good. I mean, I reckon they should work quite well.
Cool.
That's a nice car. Looks good. Came out pretty easy, and 1930s cars don't have a lot of stickers and decals to worry about. So
That's the attraction for me. If you're
Yeah,
going to
it's
have
got
to paint them, it's like, oh,
it has
just
a
numbers,
Mercedes.
that's
It
all
has a
needs.
Mercedes decal on the nose, and then it has 4 sets of numbers that I printed on vinyl and cut out and stuck on.
Did you do a black wash on the grill?
No, the grill. What I did was I spray painted the grill before I assembled it,
Uh-huh.
and then I used some of these markers. Who was it? Was it Don Young who taught us about these a couple of weeks back? And they are fantastic. They work really, really well. I'm very pleased on that. So I just painted it black first, and then I chromed the front surfaces of all of that.
Okay.
And I used the same thing to do the chrome outline on the windscreen,
the windshield,
and the backs of the mirrors, and the little there's a little
gas
seal
cap
filler up the top there.
Yeah.
Gas cap. And then the side pipes were painted with a light gunmetal, and then the rest of the car was just the Tamiya polycarbonate silver, not the regular silver, because I wanted it slightly dull. And that was that. And it has just the one little Mercedes TriStar right on the front that you could see right there.
Yeah.
Which came off the decal sheet that was supplied with the kit. And they supply this decal sheet, really nice decals, with one number of each digit, right?
Oh.
In the colors, the red with the black around the outside, there's one number 1 and one number 2 and one number, that's it.
Jeez.
And I thought, what the hell's the use of that? When these cars had 4 numbers on them those days.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I wish they would have made 1/32 scale of those. I would love to have those.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Did you apply any clear coat to that chrome, or just left it as is?
Say again?
Did you apply any type of clear coat on that chrome's pin?
No, that chrome's still as it is, and
Okay,
I did bump it once when I was putting it on, but it is much, much, much better, or much more resistant to touching than the Molotow chrome is. It
I just bought a
stays
set. I
very
haven't used them
silver.
yet. I bought a set. I haven't used them yet and put them on the centerline wheels that I
I
got.
still need to try the gold and the bronze, but the silver or the chrome works really, really nicely. Anyway, that's about it for me, I guess, for now.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, thank you. Nice to be seen. I kind of got out of the habit of getting onto the call. When I was sitting inside and looked at my watch, oh shit, it's 20 after 4 already, and these guys have been going. So I came rushing out into the garage and got myself all set up and plugged my hands-free device into my computer, plugged it in right on top of my hearing aids, and wondered why it wasn't working very well. Had to take them out and put the plugs in properly so I could hear you guys. But yeah, it's good to see you.
All right, floor is open. Anybody, anything slot car related? Questions, news?
Has anybody?
I can circle back.
Go ahead, Wayne.
I'm not convinced that the NSR hypercar is going to be exactly like it currently looks. I think it's going to look a heck of a lot more like the Ferrari than it currently does. They do put a disclaimer and say it won't look like this. It may not look like this when it's finished. And I think that thing's too close to being a Ferrari to not be a Ferrari. To call it generic is just an avoidance of the licensing. I'm sure.
Yeah, and that's what everybody's doing. I mean, the Scale Auto guys have the same thing coming with their 124 scale hypercar. They've got one coming that is supposed to be a Glickenhaus, but they're making one rear end and two different front ends. And so you can take the Glickenhaus front end off and put on another front end, and it's a Ferrari. Because the back end of the car has been made to look as close to like a combination of the two as possible. But I've seen that car, and with the right livery and the right decals on it, it'll be indistinguishable from a 499.
Yeah, yeah. And it certainly complies with the regulations that we race to. I mean, you don't have to be 100% scale accurate. I've seen cars. I've seen an Alpine in black and blue, and I'm pretty sure the body shell was one of the slotted Lolas.
Yeah,
and it was acceptable as an Alpine.
Yeah,
barely just because of its livery, and it was good. It's good enough.
From what I could tell, seeing the thing drive around our tracks, it's going to work really well.
Did it have a real racing? Did it have the real chassis underneath it? Because it looked to us
We
like
have
it got
no
flat
idea
plate.
because it was all taped over. He would not show us the chassis, so I would assume that there was a real chassis underneath it. The 3D printed grey model that was there basically just had a flat plate underneath it with wheels and a guide. But the red car that he actually drove, I think had whatever the chassis is going to be, but he had some sort of tape over the whole thing, so we couldn't see what it was.
Okay.
My guess, based on
any guesses as to what he's done that makes it the next step beyond what they already produce?
No.
Yeah, my guess is that based on the business relationships that I know he has, it will be a 22.5 or is it 21.20? It's going to be the higher performance of the flat six motor, branded as an NSR.
Branded as an NSR from slotted.
That's my guess. I mean, it fits what he said. The rear end is really low, and the flat six motor is as low as you can get without something that we have no idea about.
And this has gone to some other version of it.
So if you put basically the MR slot car version, which is a higher RPM than the slotted version, slotted makes it, but they don't put it in the cars. That would, again, that's just my guess.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
All right, Jeremy, what you got?
Hopefully my
Oh,
microphone
no
is
more
working.
opinions
Okay.
Yep,
on the
we can
NSR
go.
then. Okay.
Apparently not. We're moving on. We can come back to
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I have
So-
an opinion on Wayne's Christmas pajamas that he's wearing. Those are fancy. Wow. Yeah, look at that.
I wasn't
Hey,
gonna comment the same, Jeremy. What
yeah, I
was
know.
gonna say?
Those are he's in his smoking jacket, Christmas pajamas. All right. Let me share
He
my
got
screen.
it from the Jackie Stewart collection. That's so cool.
It's nice.
The Duke of Wimbledon in a schoolgirl's uniform.
Okay, so hopefully I'm sharing the right thing here. You should be
Yeah,
seeing a
broken-
chassis
broken
with a
car.
broken tab. This is I posted about this. If you're on Slot Farm, you've probably seen it. But this is a Pioneer chassis, and on their front tabs where they put bushings in, these are only 1 millimeter across, but the bushings can hold like 2 millimeters worth of width on them. So I don't know really why they do that, but I mean, it gives them a little wobble and jiggle when they go around, and they break very easily. So because I don't know, it's just like a straight edge right here, and this piece is really weak. So I wanted to fix it instead of just buying a new chassis. So first thing I did was I started making a part that would snap in under here, and then as you can see, it kind of fills in the gap where that piece broke. Or on this part here, where you have 1 millimeter of plastic, it adds another millimeter to this side. And if you were to glue it together, that would give you like the same. Since it's held together, it'd give you a little more structure. I can't say it's going to save you because I haven't had a chance to test these yet, but I wanted to share that there's like small upgrades you can do with 3D printing. These are kind of up close so you get to see all the layer lines, but the idea here was to either fix a broken one or just do preventative maintenance with it and glue it in first and then race it. And hopefully it's going to last a little longer than what we have now. So it's just something I was working on out of boredom, just because I get
What
tired
car
of
was it?
that was a Pioneer Legend
Legends
car.
car.
It was the Legends, but it also fits on the Pioneer Mustangs and Camaros. But for some reason, that's what they use on their front axles, and it just seems a weird design choice when you had that whole area there. You could have made it a little stronger for impact, because I think this is the third time I broke one on different cars. And what happened last time was we were racing and I was in my lane, but somebody put their hand down to pick up a car to marshal it, and their hand was sticking partially in my lane and it snapped the front axle off. So it just happens so much. I've seen other people in our club do it. So, I mean, if anybody else has, if they've come up with something better, please let me know. But that was the only idea I could come up with right now, other than I know guys have made brass tubes for it and cinched it in, but I just wanted something easy that you could snap in or glue in.
Motown will take
Hopefully I'm
100.
not sharing. Do what?
Motown will take 100.
You've broken them?
No, they'll take 100 pieces.
Yeah.
Just to kind of give the proper, not like preventative, like you said, and
Yeah.
keep them from wobbling around so much. Is that going to be a jaded part, or are you going to share the files, or?
I don't know what I'm going to do with it, because like when I made, I can make these in carbon fiber PETG, but I haven't had a chance. I'm going to have to test them in our club and see, and see if a season goes by and nobody breaks any. Because if somebody takes it and breaks it the next day, they'll be like, "Oh, you idiot! What is this?" So it's hard to prove something like these break all the time, and I don't know when they're going to break, so I can't really test to see when they're going to break, other than just punching the axle a few times and hoping nothing breaks. But I
Your
like the
rules-
preventative maintenance. Oh, go ahead. What?
Do your rules allow you to use these?
No, what are those? Oh, no. So those axle blocks would be like a helper. I think like it would be an
Yeah,
upgrade.
an improvement.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it where it's, because we race these box stock, and like right now I'm not using them in the club, so I'm gonna pitch it this year and see if we can get, even if I don't get to use it, maybe some of the lower run guys could use it just to save you. I mean, they're not very expensive. They cost pennies on the dollar to make, and a new chassis is going to cost you, 10, $12 or whatever. I think it's just such a simple design flaw. I don't know how they missed that, but I guess that's what happens.
I mean, cost cutting, savings, a penny of plastic per
Sure.
chassis adds up.
Yeah, that's true. That
There's also considerations with material shrinkage in injection molding. thicker pieces tend to shrink more as they cool. So to keep them the consistent thickness with the rest of the chassis does have a common sense manufacturing
Maybe.
purpose.
But I
You
mean,
really
like
want to
I've had
choose a
scale
material
electric
that's
cars that are
really
fine.
you want to choose a material that's really easy to CA glue into ABS.
I wouldn't CA glue it because CA glue can shatter on
Yeah, but it's what
impact.
everyone's
I
got
would
around them, and it's what they would use.
I would not recommend that. I would use like a two-part epoxy, either JB Weld or JB Weld plastic, something that's gonna not
So
snap.
would I.
Okay.
Or
Maybe-
something with
maybe
flexible.
E6000.
Or Shugu or
Yeah,
E6,
E6000. Yeah.
I don't know if Shugu would hold. I mean, maybe it would. I don't
Oh,
know.
it would.
I haven't
Okay.
had good luck with using Shugu to repair front axles and stuff like that. It's too flexible, to keep it
Well,
in line.
in this specific case, really all you need to do is make sure that the printed piece isn't going anywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true enough.
And by bonding to the chassis, the bottom of the chassis, as well as the vertical axle holder, even a few drops of GS hypo, that would be considerably stronger than either
Sure.
of the two parts together alone, right?
And
The
and also if
combination.
you take the two pieces when they're together, they're that U shape, and then you put the bushing in, you line it up and get, good movement, and then glue, like hypo into that, then it would glue both parts together with the brass and maybe keep it a little
Oh yeah,
together a little more.
strong. But, yeah.
Have you tried
I think that
CA
would be
glue on
three.
on PLA parts? PLA to PLA, it's invincible.
Yep,
It's
Right,
absolutely awesome.
but just that's not the CA glue is not made for impact. That's my only thing. It can hold anything,
No,
but it's not made to take an impact. So that's why I was
Unless you
saying
mix it
I
with
wouldn't use it.
baking soda.
Then
If
doesn't it
you
get more
mix it with
fragile then?
baking soda, it's really a
No,
lot
it's
more
really
durable.
hard.
Thought it dries
Yeah.
faster, but the crystals in there are a little more susceptible to cracking.
Well, I actually use that as a filler when sometimes if I have a resin part, like especially figures that has a little bubble in it, you pop
Yeah.
in. I actually use a pipette and pump in the baking soda and then just put a drop of thin CA and it's wonderful. Works really, really well.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really impact resistant.
Well, I can't tell you what to do. But
When it's got the baking
Well,
powder
that's what I
in,
would not do.
it's invincible. Yeah.
I
It's not
disagree,
baking
but okay.
powder. That's for pancakes. This is baking soda.
Baking soda.
Sorry. Are the two not
Same.
interchangeable? I'm not a chef.
It's the same
No,
difference,
they are
man. Don't
not.
worry.
No, oh my gosh. Oh, you don't cook? Oh
It's the
man.
same difference, I
Oh, I
said.
cook.
Never mind. It's an
use
impossibility.
it-
Starts
Never
with
mind.
baking.
Don't use a
We'll
cotton
feed him
chip.
baking powder to fix his chassis the next time he breaks one.
Baking powder.
See how
Yeah,
that
well,
works.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
just gonna make
And-
my
and
next
I'll-
chassis
I'll
out of
bring-
baking
recommend
powder.
that.
When you use baking powder, I'll bring the maple syrup.
Good. That's the expensive part, John.
Yeah.
That's all I had.
Yeah.
All right. Thank
It's
you
a
for
nice
sharing
piece,
that.
Jeremy.
Just one more comment on that. A lecturer of mine in system engineering years and years ago told me that preventative is a very creative word. And that actually it's preventive maintenance.
I don't, English is not my first language, so I don't care.
Okay.
Irregardless of all
There you
that.
go. Yeah, there he goes.
Irregardless.
There he goes. Yeah. We will respond back to that somehow at some point. Yeah.
I actually have something to show and tell
Good.
Okay.
a little
Do
bit.
it.
If
Do
you
it.
look at I've got some of these D chips that are here. And if you notice, they have a Scalextric plug into them. So you can plug the Scalextric
For
directly
DPR.
into it if you want to, and not use the slotted connectors. Or
Nice.
you can put it in a slotted car and connect it directly up.
Is
I
that
think that's
a
pretty cool.
SP43 chip?
Similar
What
to
is
that,
that?
yeah.
Is it an
That's
oxygen chip?
that's the SP15D,
Oh, the
right?
D, yeah,
SP15.
SP15D.
Scale
Oh,
Extra
okay.
Digital.
And the very first thing I ever do with those things is cut that whole big white piece right off the chip because there's no space inside anything except a Scalextric card for that.
Yeah.
True enough.
But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, it's nice. I know, I can tell you that it works. It works well. You just plug it in. And then that other little white connector on the side, that tiny little one,
Yeah.
that's for the ribbon connector that goes to their lighting board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the SP42 light kit has a little cable, a ribbon cable, that plugs onto it and plugs into that little white, the little black and white connector on the side of that board. And then
Yeah,
all
it's
the
like-
lights will work through the digital system instead of just through the 12 volts.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like the Hall effect sensor ribbon for
Yeah,
laptop.
very similar. Yeah.
It's also present on the C chip, the light socket,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but that's SSD dedicated and SSD only.
Correct.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So why do you buy it instead of a C? It must be cheaper.
Yeah.
Because there are no Cs.
Okay.
Availability.
The,
Yeah.
the Cs are no longer available.
There's been
Everybody gets sold out of them.
There's been a major supply problem with chips from Slotted in general, the 15s and the 43s or the Carrera side. We buy when we buy SP43s at Electric Dreams, we try to buy like 400 or 500 at a time, and we can't get any right now. We're completely out. I'm having to make all kinds of weird adjustments to Carrera chips to fit them into non-Carrera cars to run on Carrera Digital at the moment. And of course, as soon as you get to high power motors, then the Carrera chip sometimes is not always the best one to use.
Yeah. Somebody wanted to say something before Jeremy showed his thing. Was that you, Wayne? Somebody else, maybe. No, not you.
He was still talking about the NSR hypercar at that stage.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I made him stop talking about that.
No, I was ready to listen to more people, but obviously no one else had got much of an opinion now. So that was it.
I have one thing. Have you guys talked at all about any Black Friday sales? I see Electric Dreams has their Black Friday stuff going up.
Yeah.
So we're getting to that part of the year where you can get some really good deals. Electric Dreams is the only one I've seen so far with Black Friday, but anybody seen anything else?
NSR has one that should be available through their dealers. They announced it on their website, but it's available through their dealers. Like
what was the deal?
5% off, something like that, on selected cars.
I mean,
Got any examples, Jeremy? Really good deals.
Let me see if I can pull it up. Well, we've got a guy who works at Electric Dreams. He might have it. There was like okay. I seen MR slot cars for $39.99 for the Jaguars. There's like 3 of the Jaguars, and then they have the Polycar Modesto F1s. I think the same price, right around there, like $39. It's like we're living in 2005 again. Yeah.
Holy shit! Where's my other?
Let me see if I
Are
can
you
pull it
talking
up.
about the 2024 Polycars?
I don't know. Let me take a look. I don't really
ones,
do it. Am I
new
sharing?
ones.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 39.
Oh, wow.
39, 39, and then the 2024, 39, 39, 39. I don't know if these come with stickers or anything. Do you guys know? Because I mean, that's
No.
kind of a McLaren orange.
No
they don't.
decals.
You just got to buy your own decals. Okay.
Yeah.
Or decals. All right.
All
So
right.
there you go. I think in the email it said they're having something new each day. So maybe just check that page every day. I'll give you the link in the chat.
Did that come on today?
No, it came in the email Monday, I
Yesterday.
think. But it started with just these top 3, and now it's coming to these bottom. So each day, I think he's putting a little more in there.
Adding more.
Yeah,
$50 for those Polycars? That's crazy.
that's not a bad price. I mean, you could get
super
one of
car.
each color for your lane and have like
Right.
4 cars and have
Well,
a iRocket. Yeah.
I need 6 of them, so that just saved me $60 right off the bat. So thank you,
Unless
Jeremy.
they're gone. Yeah, no problem. I assume this is a good way to clear out inventory that didn't sell very well. I don't know. I mean, unless they get a really good deal on something.
Always the pessimist there.
Well, that's a good way to get rid of stuff. I mean, as long as he's still making some money on it. You hate to lose money on it.
The other thing is too, of course, there are always loss leaders on these things. Because
Mhm.
while somebody's now they're going to go and spend a whole lot more money to get the free shipping at $100.
Yep.
Yeah, 125 free shipping.
Yeah, I have to buy 3 cars.
I always
Just
wondered.
remember,
Well, I
folks,
need
it's not
3.
what you
So
it's not what you spend, it's what you save.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
more you spend, the more you save. on
tell
those
that to
ones,
my
yeah.
wife.
How
But
do
yeah,
you
I was
get
looking at
to the
LAB.
How do you get
Go
to the
ahead, Greg.
Black Friday deals without the email? Because I don't think I got the email.
I don't think you do because I looked on their webpage. There was nothing on the front page about it.
Yeah.
So I bookmarked that page. I was like, I'll just keep coming back here.
What's the URL?
It's in our chat. If you look in
Shared
the
on the chat.
Oh,
Zoom
okay.
chat,
All right. Yeah, I'm
bookmark
looking
that and
at the
check it each
website
day.
instead of
But then I
looking
looked at Professor Motors Super Deals page and there's nothing yet. And LEB, I don't see anything either. So hopefully, I mean, it's not Friday, but hopefully something's coming.
Speaking
The
of
one
a
thing I
good
know about
deal,
slot cars, people they're notorious for spending lots of money and not being cheap at all.
Yeah, I was gonna call them up and say, hey, these prices are too low, dude. You need to bump them back up
Yeah,
so
Yeah.
that I can
Yeah.
buy them at a higher price.
I wouldn't
That's
respect it if somebody was sold them too cheap.
You're just giving it away. Come on. Yeah, I mean the MR slot car Jags are pretty sweet too.
Yeah.
I think those he's
Yeah.
just trying to get.
Yeah.
But if you just go to the main page, Electric Dreams, and it should be right there. 7 days of Black Friday.
There you go.
oh, there it is.
What?
It was right there, top of the
It's on
list.
that main drop on the it's very first thing on that drop down
What?
menu on the right.
When you clicked it, did it close your browser?
No.
Okay.
Which on the under
You might
shop?
have to refresh. There may be a cookie that's.
You're not sharing anymore, Greg, if you were trying to share.
I'm not trying to share. I'm just looking at the page, trying to find it via the page.
Right here.
All right, hold on.
It's also the first banner in the top left corner.
Okay, go to the home page.
And then you go to slot cars.
You're in
And
shop.
then
Oh, just
in the
okay.
categories on the right.
Oh, there. Mhm.
Okay.
Seven Black Fridays.
I thought I got an email from Pendle also having something with Black Friday, but I didn't see anything.
We're having a big
Or
one.
maybe that was
in Motown.
Crick Crack.
Too many people are close.
Are we willing to take a little detour into Carrera Hybrid? But not.
Let's
If anybody-
make sure everybody else is done.
Did anybody take in the NSR Eastern?
I was
Oh,
watching
didn't,
some of the
didn't Marty go
video,
to that?
but I wasn't at the race.
Yeah, I don't think they like me
That's
anymore. I
impressive.
put some smack talk down in the live chat that
You watched
at
it,
the
did you?
NSR at the NSR Western that Andrea won by less than 13 feet, and the Eastern he won by 13 laps.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I threw down a little smack talk.
Uh-huh.
It's because they had good tires out in the East.
I don't think silicone tires like that track at all.
Oh,
Just
what they're
watch it.
racing on? It's pretty
They
Yeah.
similar.
ran silicones on scale auto track, and it didn't seem like it worked very well.
Two of the
Dennis-
guys from Iowa went there, so I should ask them about their opinion on how that track behaved with tires.
Did that track misbehave in general?
No. Well, I thought I saw something about they had counting and wiring issues, but I don't
Yeah,
think
they had some
track
timing
itself-
issues, but nothing with the track.
The
that I
track
saw.
itself was fine.
Okay.
And Ian
Oh,
flew
it's
all the way
did a
back to
rumor.
England to do the commentary, to help do the commentary.
It was
Yeah,
a
I was
massive
trying
deal
to.
to put it up and set it all up, that's for sure. Man, I wouldn't want
No,
to do all that work.
I was trying to find out what different. They had two different races or three different races. It seemed like it was
Two.
Two
kind of.
different races.
Classic and GT3.
Yeah. And they
And
were
they were
running
run
them
on,
both at the same time on two identical tracks back to
Yeah.
back. And so
Yeah.
half the entry field was running classics on the one track while the other guys were running GT3s on one track, and then they swapped over.
yeah, basically what they did is they qualified the GT3 cars, so that set the grids, and the top half of the grid started on, and so your qualifying in GT3 was also your qualifying time for Classic. So they took the top half of the grid, started on one half, on one track with one class, and they flipped it so the bottom half of the grids started on the other track with the other class, and then just flipped around. So they ran the two races simultaneously.
I wonder how they did it for those guys who were only entering one class.
I don't know, because there were quite a few that did that.
Yeah, because there's quite a few guys who only ran classics and didn't run the GT3s.
I'm guessing they had to start in the lower heat because they didn't qualify. I don't know, but I
Yeah.
shouldn't say that because I don't know.
Did they have bump up finals?
No.
No, it was just one big round robin with heats. It wasn't a big round robin,
It's
but
win for many
it was a
money.
round robin because the heats were broken down in the qualifiers. So the top eight, the next eight, the next eight, and so on. Then the winner was whoever had the most laps overall. And in the classic race, Andrea won, but the second place driver was the driver that won what you would call the B heat or heat two, because he had the second highest lap total.
Right.
Yeah.
Which was news to the guy who finished second in the fast heat and classic. So he thought he'd finish second, but the guy in the second fast heat actually beat his lap total. So there were no
So
finals,
the,
just one big
yeah,
round
the quick
robin.
guys never. So the quick guys never actually ran against one another, did they?
Well, the top eight qualifiers did, yeah, unless
Yeah.
yeah. So in theory, they did.
Yeah, but if you got podiums with a guy from the next heat down, sort of thing, then that guy never ran with the quick guys.
Well, I agree with you totally, but how do you run 75 racers? Or I think they had 60 racers in two classes in one day.
You
There's
do
no
it by
other-
time instead of laps and distance. If you do it by time, you wrap that up easily. But everybody's tied to the old format from the 60s where you didn't have a computer.
They did it by time. It was 5 minutes a
No,
lane.
who went the furthest is what determined the winner in that amount of time. But if they flip it around and say we're going to do each person's going to do 20 laps and we'll take your scores, and then you don't got to worry about you would always start and stop at the line. You would have to go mark somebody's car, move it around. That shuffling around is what kills your time. You're spending so much time doing that instead of racing. But we can't get anybody to update it. There's only like 3 clubs in the UK that have updated the way they score. We do it. There's a few people, but everybody's tied to the old style.
If you were doing 100 laps per lane, you're going to have to wait for the last guy to finish 100 laps.
Well, you would never do 100 laps per lane. You would have to figure out what's the average. How many laps did the winner run? Did it say on a race?
I don't remember, but it was a 40.
They were
it was
like
5 minutes per
300
lane.
over eight heats.
So let's just say they had
40,
eight lanes.
40
Is that
laps a
right?
lane.
Yeah, it would have been about 30 laps per lane, roughly.
So that's like
30 to
320
35
laps. So you would set instead of saying 320 laps, you would say 300 laps, and that would be a little faster too. And Andreas would get to 300 laps before anybody. He would be your first place winner. The
When do
next
you
guy
change
in
lanes?
whatever, you still change lanes. I mean, you divide
when?
300 up by 8, just like you would change any other time. But you don't move your car to where it was. You bring your car back to the start, and then you race. And your time is what's going to. It's the same. There's only 2 ways to score a race, either by distance or by time. But we've never had computers in the 50s and 60s or whatever. So if you didn't have a computer, you just had to have a guy with a power button, stop it, and we're going to move your car around, see how far it went. Computers kind of changed that, and now they can measure the distance that you go in the, if you're going to go 300 laps, you're going to have to divide that up by 8. What's 300 divided by 8? I don't know.
35.
There you go. So 35
Somewhere
laps per
around there.
heat. Andreas gets there first, and I'm really slow and I suck, it's going to take me a little longer. That's going to slow things down. But most people will get through their laps, and then we'll move to the next lane, start back at the line, do your stuff. That would speed things up dramatically. Like, just do it for one race, and you'll go like, oh my God, we saved like half the time. But nobody, it's a hard thing to get people to do.
I don't
All right.
understand how it's going to save time. You still have to change lanes. You said that the time was in the changing of lane.
You do change lanes. You grab your car, you bring it back to the line, move it to the next lane. You don't have to shuffle about, put a token where you're supposed to go, move things here. You're always starting it back at the line. So there's no confusion. The guys that are around the track that move your car back to the line, they don't have to go, what lane are you on? You're on the green lane? Wait, move them over to orange. Okay, all that kind of stuff.
That sounds like it takes more time if you have to bring everybody back to the line as opposed to just moving it from one lane over to the next.
Would you be willing to bet?
Yeah, I would be actually.
Okay, all right.
You now need to go and try a race in the Jeremy fashion.
Yeah, well, it's not my fashion. There's like 3 clubs that talked me into it in the UK, so I don't know which clubs are doing it.
Let's ask one more question. So, let's say, for example, the total race is 320 laps on an 8-lane track. That's 40 laps per lane. All right.
Mm-hmm.
When you start the first stint of that race, you have 8 guys on the track, and you run until when? Until the first guy crosses 40?
No, you have to let everybody finish their laps. That's one of the things you can't.
Now, how long
can't
is that
cut
gonna
it.
take?
Right. If you put a 12-year-old kid on there who's never raced before, that will slow you down. But again, we're talking about the nationals where people are paying money to go to here and participate. There's going to be slower guys, and there's going to be faster guys. That's true.
So Andrea wins that thing by 13 laps over 8 heats. So he's like
1.5 laps ahead of everybody.
1.5 laps. So every heat he finishes and he has to wait for another 1.5 laps of time.
Oh my God, a whole 1.5 laps? No.
That's just for the second place car.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that.
Dennis,
that's just for the guy who's second.
Look,
that's just
you guys are so
place
contrarian.
That's just for the
we'll never
place
get you to
guy,
convert.
Right?
Like 20 years from now, we'll be all like, "Oh, that was smart."
Just
I'm
for
glad
the
we
second
switched.
place guy.
How long do you once the winner crosses the 30 laps?
Yeah.
How long do you wait for the last driver to get the 30 laps?
Well, I suppose if you're trying to be contrarian and saying we must complete these laps within the next 20 seconds, I don't know how many feet that is for their lap. Of course, you could put a penalty for not crossing the lap, but like Dennis just said, that's when you did the math. You were getting up by 1 lap, maybe 1.5 laps.
Over the second place guy.
The second place car, not the last.
Not over the 8th place guy.
Right. I'm saying, I know there will be guys that are slower, but I still guarantee it's faster than doing it the old-fashioned way that you guys still do it.
I don't believe it.
What we need to do is I'm gonna get some of those guys from the UK clubs that are using this system, get them on here and talk about it.
We need a proxy.
If they use it in the UK, that decides it.
No, I'm saying there's like 3 clubs that are using it finally. I'm just saying that
a difference of opinion causes a race. Here we go.
Greg's got his hand up.
I love it.
So that's how they ran it at Nascot Wood when I was over there a couple of years ago, and I went to race with Alan at Nascot Wood. Big Ninco track. I posted a video of it, and it's basically that you were racing to a certain number of laps, and it's all how long it took you to get there, and of course being completely new to that track, and everything, I was the slow guy. So it was the lap or laps of shame that I had to do basically because everybody was finishing long before me. So you got a bunch of cars halfway down or most of the way down the straight because they went barreling through and their power cut after their last lap. And then I'm trundling around trying to, catch up as quickly as possible. It wasn't until the final heat, like 15th heat or something like that, that I did not come in dead last. But I can't really speak based only on that one night of racing. I would not say there is a big difference between how long it took between heats for guys to do what they needed to do to get from, wherever they needed to be on the next heat and ready to race. it was pandemonium, just like it is pretty much at any track, no matter what you're doing.
It can't be faster. And I'll tell you why. If you run a 3-minute race, a 3-minute heat, you run 3 minutes, a minute and a half between heats, and you start your 3 minutes. So you've got a minute and a half of downtime. If you run X amount of laps that equivalent, roughly equivalent to what would be 3 minutes, whatever the number of laps is on your track, when the leader gets to that, you've got to wait probably 10 to 20 to 25 seconds for the last place guy to do that. So now you're down 20 seconds. You still got to have the minute and a half between heats. There's no way it's faster.
There's no way it's slower, Jim. I'm sorry, but we can argue this all day.
I absolutely think it's slower.
We went from an hour races where like we'd have an hour and a half down to an hour, and like where'd that time go? It's because we're not shuffling around, getting our cars, figuring out which lane you're on. Oh wait, this guy forgot to put his car's token there, and he didn't move this around here. It's just that shuffling about is not race time. It's just you're wasting that time.
Wait, let me ask you.
Wait, I can't argue against both of you all guys. Now stop it. You're killing me here. Let's move
shuffling
on.
Around. Is there a time limit on that shuffling around? Because ours is
I have no idea. What is the time limit?
If you shuffle, like you said, if you shuffle around and you wait for people to change their cars, that could be 5 minutes.
Take a lot of time.
But if it's in the computer where it's a minute and a half and the time starts whether you're done or not, it's a minute and a half. And your way is going to be a minute and a half plus the extra time it takes for the last place car to finish. There's no way.
The track doesn't stop once the winner goes. It's just you said a minute and a half. Those guys are still driving around, but it's not.
But the winner can't do anything.
All right.
Nobody can do anything.
I can't argue. You guys have much more experience at this than I do. I'm just going by the science. You guys are going by intuition. Let's do it.
I just told you the science.
We got to figure out a way to compare this. Let's compare it. When we go offline, we'll talk about it.
I'm not saying your system is bad. I'm just saying there's no way mathematically it can be faster.
It's not my system, but I just want to say.
Well, whatever.
Not my system. I know.
I'm not saying that system
time
is bad.
versus distance. You guys are still racing distance, and instead of racing against time, that's okay. Those are the only two ways to do it. Sorry, Lenny, you got a question.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying mathematically, there's no way it's faster. It can't be.
It has to.
That's assuming that is assuming that you're going to have the exact amount of in between time between the heats.
You have to. You still have to go get your car. No matter what you do, you still have to go get your car.
And change your lane sticker.
And change your lane sticker. So you still have to have that minute and a half, whatever it happens to be. We just use a minute and a half. You still have to have a minute and a half between the time of heat 1 finishes till the time of heat 2 starts. But it's a absolute minute and a half. In the system that Jeremy's talking, it's a minute and a half plus whatever it takes for the last car to finish the X amount of laps.
No, because the first guy is
still
faster. Go ahead.
There is a more advanced system than both of those, and that is to have no lane stickers and start the race.
Digital.
Start the race and end it after 6 hours or 24, and all of that is driving time.
Unless your chip burned out,
talking
or there's
about
trouble
people in
with
the past, Jeremy.
or there's interference on the wires that you can't count all the laps. Stop it, Wayne.
And all the problems we talk about with digital ad nauseum in this chat, so.
Go ahead, Lenny. Yeah, moving along.
What you got, Alan?
Oh, I'm just going to talk about what we've just been talking about, actually. G'day first. I haven't been on for a while. I got press gagged onto a cruise ship in August and never got back. I was on there for 8 days, but the rest of the time was catching up. Anyway, what we do is we run 3-minute heats, and then when the time runs out, you cross the start finish line, and your lane gets cut. Once everybody's stopped, we reinstate the time. You drive the car back, do your lane change, do your sticker, clean your tyres, whatever you got to do. They got 90 seconds to do that. Sometimes they've only got a minute. Then drive your car back, or do a couple of warm-up laps, just get your tyres warmed up, park it back on the line, and go. So, and then repeat for each lane change.
Okay,
we take about an hour to get through 12 drivers in a 12-minute race.
as long as I'm being the jerk. So you say you have like an X amount of time, and then when the time runs out, everybody finishes their lap, and then you put the cars back at the start line again?
Yeah,
Well,
that's an
the power
artsy way of
cuts
doing
after
it.
the power cuts after you cross the start finish line.
What everybody does.
Yes.
Okay, so
And then
let's just say it's a 3-minute heat.
Yep.
And when 3 minutes is up, everybody crosses the line
Yep.
and they're done.
Yes.
And then you move the cars to another lane, but you bring the cars back to the start line.
Yes.
Okay, the problem with that is you never know who wins. And I'll tell you why. It all depends on where you are in relation to other cars when the time cuts out. If the time cuts off and you're an inch in front of you're an inch past the start finish line, you get to come all the way around and get an extra lap. If you're an inch behind the start finish line, when the time runs out, you lose a lap to the other car. So you actually never know who wins the race.
No, what it does when the time cuts out, and what it does, it calculates the time to get back to the start finish line.
Yeah,
No,
it
it
adds
doesn't.
that
It
to
It
your
does it
doesn't,
time.
like
So you
Alan.
get
a radio
you get
control
some
car
races.
race.
You get some races who get 3 minutes, and you get some races who get 3 minutes plus the duration it takes to get one lap.
Okay, here's the deal. If you do that system, if a car is 1 inch past the start finish line when the 3 minutes are up, that car gets to come all the way back around. So he'll get, let's say that lap is 15 in 3 minutes and 10 seconds. If the car that's an inch behind, he's 2 inches behind him on the track, but when the time goes off, one's in front of the line and one's behind the line, he loses a lap, even though he's only 2 inches behind the other car.
Yeah, but it calculates as the last partial lap. So if you've
No,
quickly crossed the
Still
line,
loses a lap.
you
It
get the lap
can't.
counted. Then when you come around again, you only get the
Yeah,
partial.
so,
Alan,
okay,
Alan,
so here's
the
here's
program
what I-
cannot calculate the time. It estimates the time based on the lap
Estimates, does it?
time from the one before.
Oh, well, it's all the same for all of us, so we do it anyway.
It's not though. It's
It
that's
works
Yeah,
the
but
way
you're
it's
from
not.
Adelaide.
Yeah, it's Adelaide, mate. Yeah.
Okay, let me explain what I'm saying, and let's see if this is the way you do it. So
Mm.
if you and I are racing, and it's a 3-minute heat, and when the 3-minute clock goes off or stops, and I'm 2 inches past the start finish line, and you're 2 inches behind the start finish line, and we're both on lap 15, the car that's behind, he goes another 2 inches and he gets lap 15, right?
Yeah.
The car in front of the line comes all the way around and gets lap 16, even
Yeah,
though
that
he's
doesn't
only
make
2
sense.
inches ahead of the other car.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't get the
Can
extra
Can
lap.
I interject? Can I interject? I think I understand what's happening. So, Alan, correct me if I'm wrong, but that car that's 2 inches behind the line, like Jim says, or in front of the line, like Jim says, just got its 15th lap, and then the car behind him gets its 15th lap after the timer stops, right? So you're thinking, well, it's gonna the guy who was ahead of the line when the timer stopped is gonna get 16 laps, but he's not. He's actually gonna get 15.1 laps because
No,
Yeah.
he's
the
gonna,
system
he's gonna get
is
15
taking
laps.
the system is calculating how long it took him to get back around to the lap counter from when the timer stopped, right? And it says, oh well, it took him, 6.5 seconds to after the timer stopped
Yeah.
to get back around. So that means he must have been just after the lap counter when
Yeah.
the timer stopped. So he doesn't get 16 laps, he gets 15.1 or
Yeah.
0.0 or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, well, it's the same
Right.
for everybody, so it works for us.
Depends
Everybody's
what's
happy.
really happening.
Is that
Depends
kind of
on
how
how
it
the
works?
software works.
Yeah, everybody's happy with it. It works for us. So
The system I'm describing, if it may or not be the same as what you're talking about, Lenny. If it isn't, I'm sorry, but
let's race coordinator.
that's the system they use in the Sacramento group.
Yeah.
And you race, basically they call it race to the line. So when the 3 minutes are up, everybody crosses the line and you get whatever laps you get. So that
Yeah.
car that's in front of the line by 2 inches comes all the way back around and finishes his 16th. The car that's right behind it gets 15. And
Yeah.
it's absolutely the way that is done. If it's this, like I said, I'm not sure if we're understanding each other. We're doing the same way, but the way they do it, it's absolutely not fair because it's based on your position when the timer goes off, and it can be luck of the draw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
So,
actually raced under that system and under race coordinator, and it did exactly what you're familiar with, Jim, which is the radio control car way of
it's an
doing
RC
things.
type system. Yeah.
It's an RC type
Yeah,
racing
that's the
system,
RC.
and it works when you run in for one time period
Yes.
because you
Yes.
can get one winner who's done the 16th lap, but he did it in 8 seconds, and another guy can execute the 16th lap in less than 8 seconds, meaning he was further over the line when the timer stopped, and he gets around and he's not done 8 seconds for the last lap. He's done 4,
Yeah.
so he was
Yeah.
nearly half a lap ahead. So it works
Yeah,
when you do one time period, but when you try to stack these up by having 4 lanes or 6 lanes, and you do that several times and you add them together, you find that one guy can be a couple of seconds ahead of another on the track. In reality, when the timing's all done, he's added 4 laps because he's gained 1 lap on that guy in every lane. And you're right, it's not fair. And I've raced under it, and it although it's not fair, it's the same for everyone. So how can it really be unfair? Is the argument?
Well,
It's the same for everyone.
It's
But
because it's because it
it can
doesn't
be a
actually
luck of the
work.
draw.
It doesn't
It
work.
may not tell you who the real winner is.
No, I'll
No,
agree with
and
Jim.
by what margin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We,
Because
we
in the Sacramento system, when the time goes off, that one car gets to come around, so he gets an extra lap.
yeah,
The time is not involved in it in their system. You just get the number of laps.
yeah.
The only time comes into
Oh,
play
yeah,
is if 2 drivers are on the same lap at the end.
Yeah.
But
And the
once you
objective
get
of
that
a
one
race
lap
was to
down,
try. The objective of a race for us was to try to get to the line before the timer finished and get to the extra lap.
yeah. But it
Because we
doesn't
all
get like in
knew we would
RC
achieve
racing.
30.
In RC racing, it differentiates a slow 15 lap run, like 15 laps and 10 seconds, as
Yeah.
opposed to a fast 14 and 1 second. So you get the true difference. But in the Sacramento system, you don't, because they don't take the time into account. They just add up laps.
And that's
When-
what
when-
my club did with race
when you're
coordinating.
racing for time is the thing that determines your winner. You have to let all drivers get all of their laps, otherwise you're not comparing apples to apples. Because we had that same problem when we first switched to this system, is that we would have the timer stop when the first guy crossed, but it created some weird situations. But other people then complained, I don't like the laps of shame, and I would always say, well, just pull your car off if you don't want to do it. That's fine, but don't punish the rest of us. So when you're racing for time, you have to let everybody finish their laps. Otherwise, the math just doesn't math.
Are you
Yeah,
racing for
you're
time
right.
or
You
racing
run into
for
the
laps?
problem you run into the problem that I just addressed. If
Right.
you don't
Yeah,
let
that's
everybody
one of the
finish.
problems. The other problem that we ran into is where, like, one guy's really good and laps everybody. So he's on 16 laps, like you said. Because he stops the timer, the rest of the guys are on 15. And then even if that guy was in second or third place, now he doesn't have all of his laps. But other guys who didn't get lapped because they didn't happen to race in that heat, they get moved up because they have all their laps. So it's
Yeah.
you have to
yeah.
let
They get more
everybody
time to
finish
do
their
it.
laps. Right. If that it's the same, it's kind of the same when you guys race for distance, where you're like, whoever goes the furthest is the winner. You get like some variations there with coast at the end, or when power goes out and you get a little more coast. That affects the same way. It's kind of one of the negatives of that format. So I understand what you're saying, Lenny, but I think you have to let everybody get their laps in and don't stop it.
Well, the other scenario too, in what I was talking about, is if you've got one car that's 2 inches in front of the line and one car that's 2 inches behind the line, but the car that's behind the line is coming up to lap the other car, then the time will go off, and that car that's almost being lapped will come around and get his full lap.
You'll basically catch
No,
back
no,
up.
you only get a partial lap.
Okay.
The
Well,
Sacramento
so-
system, you don't.
When
Yeah,
when the time comes up to 3 minutes, it stops counting laps,
Stops counting laps, and
and it just
uses
calculates the time to complete the last lap.
and it uses that to estimate a percentage of the track distance that
Yeah.
he could have covered in that piece of time, right?
That's right.
So that's
So
What
in
if
other
you
words,
slotted on your
if
last
you've got
lap
a
then?
hang on, if you've got an 8-second lap, and the guy is 2 inches beyond, or the time goes off, and he is 1 second beyond the start finish line when the time goes off, then the computer knows that in 3 minutes he did a certain number of laps, but he has 1 second that has to come off of whatever his last lap is. So if he goes around that lap in a whole 8 seconds, then the computer knows that he completed 1/8 of a lap in the time between when the power went off and where he was. So
When
that's
the-
what he
yeah, when the
gets.
clock
That's what the
stops.
Where the
computer is
time stops.
calculating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
like
it
Phil
doesn't-
said, it's an estimate, but it's pretty close, I think.
No,
Yeah.
we ran a series. We ran this for 3 weeks down here on Race Coordinator, racing timed races and recording the tenths of a lap at the end of every bracket or marking the car's tenths.
Yeah.
And over that time, out of 6 races, we only had 1 race where Race Coordinator estimated the right number of tenths for all the cars.
All right.
Other than that, we had variations where some cars had finished ahead of others on the lap and Race Coordinator did not calculate it correctly. So that's why we reverted back to marking the track or leaving the cars on the track, as in the old system that some of you will know that we did in commercial racing and 24th racing years ago. I mean, that's what we used to use, markers. Look at Dennis grinning. He's an old marker man, aren't you, Dennis?
Of course, I know
Still the
exactly
most-
what you're talking
That's
about.
still the most accurate because
It
we've
is the
got
most accurate. I'll agree
Well,
with you, Jim.
Another
It's the only-
system we used to use was the 3 minutes, and then you'd call out your partial lap score. So they'd write that down on a score sheet at the end of the race. They'd add them in to the final score. So over your 4 heats, you got a 0.3, a 0.5, a 0.6, and a 0.2 of a lap. They'd get added into the score. Mind you, that was a ladder log. We used to use those clicker things, the electronic clicker ones that used to turn over the numbers.
Yeah.
So on Race Coordinator, Dave, the guy who authors it, says that when you use it for the best guess, what's it called at the end? When it calculates the segments or sections, he said not to use it. I mean, it's a best guess, but it's not accurate, is what he says. So I wouldn't use that feature if you're trying to get. I mean, if you're just having fun, sure, but if you're trying to get the actual winner, you need to go by time or distance. Those are the only ways you can really get accurate.
we use Lapmaster just like Electric Dreams does, and Lapmaster estimates that when everybody's done, it estimates the laps are correct, but it estimates the segments, and they're rarely, if ever, right.
No,
based on where the car stops.
Because
they always have to go around and do
because of the
correction.
coasting and
That's basically the
Coasting,
same
and
thing.
also the last lap you have, a lot of times you're pressing it as hard as you can, and the computer doesn't know how much you made up there. It's just going, well, his average was this. This is probably where he was at. It doesn't know you're 5 feet ahead of where you really
Well, if
are.
you crash on the last lap,
Yeah.
it may think you're getting 3/4 of a lap, but you only get a quarter because you crashed.
that's more likely, actually.
Yeah. Because the estimates, I think, are pretty close. But
Actually, there's another system. Phil probably familiar with Gary Johnson up in Queensland.
Yes.
Yeah, his system, he timed, I think it works out the time it takes to get back to the finish line after the power cuts. And then after the timer stops, and then the power cuts after you cross the start-finish line.
Yeah, but his system doesn't work either, Alan. It's got the guys in Launceston ran that for a while.
Yeah.
Big Dennis, and I can't remember all the details, but because of the time base that he's used to base it on, it still varies from period to period, unfortunately. Okay. Part of all this is based on what system the computer is running on, and the software is based on with the timing. And even Dave will tell you from Race Coordinator, it's not dead accurate, but it's a good estimate. Yeah.
Well, we use it all the time. Nobody seems to get upset. So
I would. Only to stir you up.
Oh, you would? Yeah, I know you would.
That's
why you live in Tasmania, mate.
Second, and I'd be
That's why we banished you down to the South Island.
I think another benefit to the old school system is barring a round robin, because with a round robin, you don't know where everybody is until the race is over. But in the race we had the other day,
yes,
the last segment, I was racing head to head with Braden because we were on the same lap. We were running 3 more minutes. We were obviously on different lanes, but I was racing against him head to head. And if you're going to do the lap things, you're never going to know who wins. It's more like a big qualifying session. You're never going to know where everybody is until the race is over.
No.
So I was racing him head to head. We were 5
I
and
find
10
that that's
on the field.
I find that's
And so-
true though when I'm racing in the old style format too. Is like I'm racing with people. I'm moving my car over. I don't know if I'm in 4th place or in 3rd place or 7th place because it's just like you're racing for distance. Sometimes you get lost in those fields.
It's right on the
I'll say
scoreboard.
it
You know how
again.
many laps you're behind.
No,
or
like
ahead.
I'm starting up here on this round, but you're starting back there, but we're a lap behind each other. And it's just, it gets
Yeah.
weird too there. It's not like nothing. It's not like that's perfect either.
You know, you don't know where you are
Wasting
until the
your
end.
time with analog racing. Go digital. We don't have that freaking problem.
Your
I was
digital
about to
broke
say,
again.
I'll
Fix
say it
it.
again. Just go digital.
Wayne
Just go
always brought that
digital.
up.
Go fix it before you can race it.
It's working. I can share.
Like
I
owning
can
a
share.
Fiat.
I can share. I can share a picture if you want. We raced last night.
Have fun with that.
Well, I mean, the race at Electric
Oh,
Dreams
wow.
2 weeks ago, those two guys were running, the whole field was there. But when it came down to it in the last heat, they were running head to head.
Yeah.
And that would never happen in the other system.
It does happen in the other system though. It's the same
But
thing.
you never know till the races are. You don't know how far or ahead or behind you are.
But
it's
in
based
the
on
other
time.
system, I don't know either. I got to look up and see the number. Oh, we're both on lap 58, and now we're starting together. This
Well,
is where we
you
go.
just answered my question. We're both on 58.
But the
so
other
yeah.
thing, is that every heat race is important. Whereas sometimes in the other format, you don't know where you're at. And you're like, I know it's important. I'm racing against myself because these guys are nowhere near me. But that doesn't happen either. So there's positives and negatives for both.
In the format that we've got, you always have the total laps right next to you, right next to your name. So you always know where you are.
Yeah.
Just look down and see how many laps you've done.
You're using race coordinator, Mike?
You know
It's
what? I
usually
don't know.
digital.
Oh, okay.
Probably Lapmaster,
But
most-
with how many
we've got-
people?
Yeah, I think it is Lapmaster.
most
Ours
commercial
is on
tracks use
display
Lapmaster.
on the main board. We've got it. One of the guys came in and set up one of those XAMLs, whatever they're called, and we could see the progressive lap scores on the main board where everybody is. Middle, you got to wait till basically to the last heat for it to shake out.
Yeah.
But at least you got some idea where you are.
So the race program that we use does not show total laps. We only ever see
The heat.
the heat that we just finished.
Yeah.
And we have there's a rule that you're not allowed to go click and look at the results screen before all the heats have been run. So the only people that really know or think they know where everybody is are the people who are able to like tabulate how many laps they've been getting against how many laps other people have been getting. There's some guys who can just run numbers in their head like nobody's business. Right?
They're
They'll be like,
card
oh, well,
cameras, Greg.
he's 5 laps
They're
ahead
the
of
ones
me,
that get
and
banned from
he's
casino.
6 laps behind you, and he's 2 laps ahead of you. I'm
Well,
like, dude,
Is that
how are you-
TrackMate?
No, it's Race Manager. It's the program one of our members wrote a long time ago.
What's the argument that you don't want people to know where they are going into the last heat?
I have no idea. I think it's probably just because,
Surprise.
the way that we race Crash and Burn, we want everybody to race not only conservatively in order to stay on the track, but also not to just decide, oh, well, I'm far enough ahead, I don't even need to race, so I'll just kind of, whatever.
I mean,
I don't
to
know.
me, that's part of
Yeah.
racing. If I've got 5 lap lead, I'm going to go slower in the last heat than I
Yeah.
would if I'm
Yeah.
2 laps down. That's actually racing, knowing where you are.
Yeah.
I don't have an explanation for it. I'm
yeah.
just saying.
Yeah,
It's a limitation.
The way we
they put
race,
into
I
the
have
system.
no idea where anybody is.
I'm
other
just
than,
trying to shoot the
did I
messenger.
come off a lot and did I, or not? If I didn't come off, then I'm usually towards the top. That's all I know.
Not being able to see where you're at in the race is like not counting your money when you're at gambling. Well, how am I gonna know what to bet if I don't know where I'm at? That doesn't make any sense. That
Yeah.
stupid Kenny Rogers song. You tell me bad advice. Don't
You
count
just
your
want to know how
money.
much you're losing.
Yeah. I need to know where I'm at.
I'm going to walk away if I'm 10 laps down.
Exactly. There's like 5 laps left in the race and I'm 10 up.
That might
I've
be
seen
the
that
reason.
happen.
They don't want people quitting just because they're behind.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, that's probably the most likely reason is that people getting frustrated, and especially because we race crash and burn. Well, I've
Well,
lost
that
too many laps.
crash
I'm
and
not gonna.
burn brings a whole new different level into it. So it's yeah.
Yep, yep.
Oh, the strategic driving that must take place under crash and burn. Jeez.
There have been many times where I just let somebody go past because I don't want to try to be anywhere near them while racing on
Yeah.
the track. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah,
nope,
yeah.
I'm not going to be near that person who can't keep their tail in line.
I
We
I
used
do that
we used to
in
run
normal
three.
racing, let alone that. Crash and burn.
We used to run crash and burn, but it was 3 strikes. You got 3 outs and you were pulled. But then I came from the world of like Mario Kart, whereas like if the leader had 2 outs and I had none, guess who was getting taken out pretty quick? And they're like, "Oh, you can't do that." I was like, "Well, why do we have 3 strikes then? What does it matter if I can't take them out?" So, oh well.
Yeah.
It's the limitations of different lane lengths, different corner radii, just the limitations of multiple lanes. You don't get it with anything that's you don't get it with digital and you don't get it with radio control. You just have to do what you can within the limitations.
Wayne, have you ever
Good
ran at
topic.
NASCAR?
And
Have you ever ran at
hybrid.
NASCAR?
Personally, no, I've run with Alan at one of his clubs, but it wasn't NASCAR Wood.
What about Mosley or Molsey?
Molesley.
Yeah,
No, I haven't
no?
been there either.
All right. I was just hoping you get an opinion on racing time versus distance. Those two clubs use it, so I was just curious how it worked for them.
Your best, yeah, Greg's the best present to
I
describe
didn't
that.
have any complaints other than being, taking all those laps of shame. But I'm not the kind of guy that gets all,
Did
fussy
you ever
and
crash
in
into
my
the
head
cars that
about.
had finished?
Did I what?
Did you ever crash into the cars that had finished?
No, it's down the straight. There's no way I could crash into them.
Okay. I
The
have
only thing
fears
that
about
worries
cars
me
that
is
have stopped when I'm if I'm if I'm driving
If it
past
was,
cars that have stopped, I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to do that.
yeah, and this
no, because the
obviously
power only
predicates.
cut when the power only cut for your lane when you're when you're doing your final lap and
I,
you're gunning it and you cross under the bridge at full speed and then your power cuts. Most of the other cars are down at the end of the straight, so you're just kind of coasting from there
yeah.
to where they
We had a
are.
power cut after 5 minutes plus your finishing lap. Like Jim was describing, and like, yeah, how you can never find the real winner. And they would coast past the start finish and into the first turn, which was a very fast sweeper. And yeah, there'd be parked cars in the sweeper, and you'd be trying to complete laps, and you'd be like, "Holy cow, the cars have stopped right there on the entry to the next turn." Don't like it.
Yeah,
Anyway,
the
that's
the NASCAR wood track has the lap counter, as I recall, somewhere near the middle, but actually might have been closer to the beginning. So like maybe a third or
yeah.
3/8 or
It's
something like
yeah, it
that
needs to
down
be
the track.
strategically
So
placed so that
lots
doesn't
and
happen.
So
lots and
obviously,
lots.
all of these tracks that run this way have to have individual power control for each lane, right?
Oh yeah,
And the race management system that you're using has to be able to individually switch each lane off at that particular point in time. So
a race coordinator does.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
race
just
coordinator.
saying that there are probably, in some cases, probably systems that don't do that, can't do that.
Well,
But
anyone
there's
using a single power supply to power 4 lanes is in that situation.
no, you can use a single power supply, but you have relays between the power supply
Well,
and the
yeah,
lane,
okay.
That's what I've got.
and then the computer
So
controls each lane or
Yes.
each relay individually.
we have that. We have both ways. We have one track owner has individual relays, and power gets cut on the straight. So there'll be at the end of the race, there'll be cars down there while we're waiting for the last guy to come and finish his lap.
Yeah.
But then one of the tracks has one relay for everything, and what happens
Yeah.
is those guys don't know their race is over, so they keep racing. And instead of calling it laps of shame, I think I've called it the podium parade because the top 3 guys are on the podium doing parade laps. So it makes everybody feel a lot better when they hear podium parade.
Okay.
Yeah, parade laps.
But you still, you still have a system where the race control system, the race management has to time and count laps individually per lane, and stop the timer individually per lane.
No.
Yes.
And no, I promise you. No, it doesn't. The people that keep going are waiting for the last guy to come, and then all 4 lanes stop power.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
You can't-
in the meantime, the guys who have finished their allocated number of laps, their timer has stopped at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, if
Because-
we race 15 laps and they get to 15, they've done it in 28 seconds or whatever.
And then
Yeah, they may run
and they
18 laps,
continue.
but their counter stopped at
That's one
50.
way of doing it.
They still have power and they run around, and so they are now in the way of those guys trying to finish. I
Sure.
would like that.
But they were in the way when they were running.
That's true too.
The other way around, though, the slow guys were in the way when the fast guys were running, and now the fast guys are in the way when the slow guys are running.
Yes.
Turnabout is fair play.
Anyway, I mean, the radio control way, as Wayne said, it's a problem when you start to add things up. But if you add both the laps, the completed laps, and the time, you still get it. So you could run 4 heats, and you would get 120 laps in 12 minutes and so many seconds.
Yeah, but there's a
And-
guy there that does 116 laps in 10 minutes or something because the times are different for everybody.
Times are not different for everybody. The times are 3 minutes a lane plus the time of completing your last lap.
And that's what makes them different for everybody, isn't it?
Yeah.
So everybody
So the
gets a
guy-
different amount of time.
Yeah, but you start by comparing the laps, right? So a guy who has
Not if we're all racing the same
has,
amount of laps.
guy who has 120 laps, well,
We'll all have 120
Oh,
laps. It's just
all right,
you
so
did
you-
it
you
in
s-
60
no,
seconds.
no,
He did it in
yeah.
40 seconds.
you're talking about a different system to what I was talking about. I was talking about what Wayne was saying earlier about using the radio control system of having
Oh.
3 minutes plus the time to the end of the final lap. Anyway, let's leave it.
It's been a good one.
Sounds like
A
a
lot of
good
fun.
time to stop the live broadcast. So I'm gonna do that
Got away
now.
at that time already.
Wave bye until next week. Goodbye.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
And happy Thanksgiving to all of those who have Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Mm.